The modern cybersecurity landscape is only getting more complex. The network perimeter is only becoming blurred. It's becoming much harder to define what the perimeter is for any given enterprise network. What you have to keep in mind is that at this point, a breach is inevitable.
If we talk about lateral movement, so the bad actors, the ransomware, the malware, what they try to utilize is something that is open already in your network. Ports like RDP, SSH, ports that they can give you privileged access to another machine. Instead of spending a lot of energy after a breach happens, why we don't apply something that really prevents the lateral movement and really makes impossible for ransomware to proceed and spread in networks?
I hear from customers that, hey, we have a very complex environment. It's a mix of on-prem and hybrid and cloud, and ultimately this makes securing that almost impossible. Automation today can actually make that very easy for the customer. And so it's a change in mindset of, hey, we don't have to do everything manually. We can actually use automation to make this simple in these days.
Zero Network's original vision came from the founder's experience of working in cybersecurity and noticing that no matter what they did, the customers were still being breached. And so if the customers are still going to be breached, the best place to put defense is after that breach occurs, how can we stop that breach from succeeding? So the point is not to stop a breach. The point is to stop a successful breach.
So Zero Networks is putting the power in the hands of the defenders. So thanks to the automation engine that we have, and we are generating security policies based on the flows that we identified. And this doesn't happen overnight. So we spend a lot of years trying to build an engine with a lot of knowledge from experts. Not just, classifying AI, LLMs that everybody has today. So we generated a really deterministic engine based on knowledge. If you detect a SQL server, we know already how to protect the SQL server. We don't need to guess. So we can reduce the time to generate security policies without breaking anything. So this is game changing.
When I talk to customers and I hear about their concerns with the networks, they're starting to think, okay, how do I defend the network from the inside if the attacker is already in the network? How do I secure that and help make the network self-defending? So now if an attacker gets in, they can't laterally move, they can't spread to the next thing, and ultimately, customers have a lot of detections and those aren't working today, so they need protective measures to also go with those detections so they can stop the attacker from spreading.
And so a network that is designed to be self-defending is actually leveraging something called microsegmentation. But what is microsegmentation?
So microsegmentation is the technique that we utilize to create a bubble around an asset to really protect the asset, not just from the outside, but from the inside as well. So we control what traffic is going to be allowed to get in, and we are going to control what the traffic that's going to be out. For decades, we focused and apply security in the network. But at the end of the day, what you need to protect is the endpoint, the target. Ensuring that you have the protections in the endpoint makes it really hard for attackers on ransomware to really succeed.
Implementing microsegmentation is as urgent today as it ever has been. 60 to 70% of all breaches leverage lateral movement to succeed. Ransomware is approaching $1 trillion industry. Ransomware is not going anywhere anytime soon, and lateral movement is the #1 mechanism by which it succeeds. If you stop lateral movement, you stop ransomware. The best way to stop lateral movement is microsegmentation.
So when I talk to customers that are in highly regulated environments or verticals, we're seeing more and more that there's granular access controls around these systems, especially around privileged access. To achieve granular access for compliance purposes in highly regulated verticals, you're essentially taking the network down to the smallest bits and only allowing the things that are needed, and that's the most granular access you can have to achieve that compliance requirement. And there are even some now are requiring MFA for all privileged access in the environment. And with Zero Networks, they're able to actually achieve that in a very simple way because they now are doing granular access with segmentation, and with our just-in-time MFA, they can apply MFA to all privileged access across the environment.
You might ask yourself, if microsegmentation is so effective, why aren't more companies using this defense? And the reason is because it sounds difficult on its face. We get that. And historically, it has been difficult to deploy and scale. The reason being, if you think about the complexity of governing all the network access and policies, you can see how exponentially difficult that might be. Zero Network solves this with automation. It's purpose-built for large, complex network environments. It can learn every asset in your environment and write highly accurate policies in order to allow you to have a micro-segmented environment in months instead of years. And something that from day one and then day two continues to dynamically evolve with your network for continuous protection.
At Zero Networks, we have customers across many verticals: financial, healthcare, manufacturing, and microsegmentation is something that many customers in many verticals need to achieve to reduce vulnerabilities and raise their security posture across the environment. So we're seeing a trend in these industries that they're all moving towards this because they know it's like the next thing that will gain them the most security posture, and they get very excited that, hey, this undertaking that we have to do that we thought was going to be a long process is now very simple and allows us to actually achieve that security posture that we're looking for.
We're meeting complexity with simplicity, but effective simplicity. What you want are solutions that are simple to deploy, but powerful in action. Microsegmentation is that, and Zero Networks finally makes that possible. This is meaningful for everybody. Stopping cyber attacks is important for everybody. You're going to continue to see us put the defender first in the way we design our solutions. For us, our mandate is to stop lateral movement, and then we want to get that adopted as broadly as possible so that more and more companies have access to the power of this type of tool so that they can start succeeding in the cyber war.